10 years ago, if you told someone that an electric car would set a production car lap record at the Nurburgring, they would have laughed at you. Nobody is laughing now. This is the story of how electric cars went from a punchline to the most disruptive force in automotive history. For most of the 20th century, the electric car was a symbol of compromise. Low speed, short range, limited practicality. The first modern EVs of the 1990s, like General Motors EV1, were interesting experiments that confirmed what most people already believed: electric cars couldn't compete with combustion engines. Not really. GM recalled every EV1 and crushed them. The project ended. The industry moved on. Then in 2008, a small startup from California launched a sports car that nobody expected. The Tesla Roadster was built on a Lotus Elise chassis and powered entirely by lithium-ion batteries. It had a range of over 200 miles. It hit 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds. It was fast. Genuinely fast. The automotive industry noticed. But most didn't panic yet. Tesla was a startup. Startups failed. The Roadster was interesting, but it was also expensive and built in tiny numbers. Then Tesla launched the Model S. The Model S wasn't a sports car. It was a full-size luxury saloon, the kind of car that competes with BMW 7 Series and Mercedes S-Class. And in its performance specification, it demolished both of them in a straight line. The Tesla Model S Plaid, launched in 2021, runs from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds. That is supercar territory. That is faster than a Lamborghini Huracan, faster than a McLaren 720S, achieved in a 5-seat family saloon. Range anxiety, the fear of running out of charge, had been the electric car's greatest weakness. Tesla's supercharger network began addressing it systematically. By the mid-2010s, driving across the United States in an electric car was possible in a way it simply hadn't been before. But Tesla wasn't the whole story. Porsche watched the industry shifting and responded in the way Porsche always responds to a challenge, by building something remarkable. The Taycan, launched in 2019, was the first Porsche EV. It wasn't just quick in a straight line, it was built to be driven hard repeatedly, lap after lap, without the battery degradation that affected other EVs under sustained performance driving. Porsche had solved one of the fundamental engineering problems of electric performance: not just making a car fast, but keeping it fast. Then came Rimac, a Croatian startup that very few people had heard of. Built the Nevera, an electric hypercar producing nearly 1,900 horsepower. It set multiple acceleration records. It proved that electric powertrains could do things combustion engines physically cannot. 4 motors. 1 on each wheel. Torque delivered to each corner independently, instantly, with a precision that no mechanical differential can match. The physics of electric motors, immediate torque from 0 RPM, turned out to be an extraordinary advantage in performance applications. Not a limitation. An advantage. The Hyundai Ioniq 5N brought electric performance to a price point that ordinary buyers could access. The Volkswagen ID.R set lap records at Pikes Peak and the Nurburgring. The Lotus Avaya, the Pininfarina Battista, the Mercedes-AMG EQS, established manufacturers began committing to electric performance in ways that would have seemed impossible just a decade earlier. And in 2023, an electric car finally set an overall production car lap record at the Nurburgring, the benchmark circuit that the entire performance car industry uses to measure itself. The lap belonged to a Porsche. Electric. None of this happened because of environmentalism. It happened because engineers discovered that electric powertrains are genuinely, fundamentally better at certain things than combustion engines. The petrolhead argument used to be simple: electric cars are boring. No engine noise, no gears, no soul. That argument hasn't disappeared. But it has gotten a lot more complicated. Because while electric cars still don't sound like a V8 or a flat 6 at full song, they go around corners at speeds that combustion cars find very difficult to match. They accelerate with a force that no naturally aspirated engine can generate. And they do it reliably, repeatedly, without warming up, without optimal temperature windows, without the theater that combustion performance requires. The EV revolution didn't happen overnight. It took 30 years of incremental battery development, a few visionary companies willing to bet everything on a technology the industry dismissed, and a generation of engineers who saw the physics and understood what was possible. The combustion engine isn't dead. Not yet. And for many drivers, it never will be. But the idea that electric cars can't be serious performance machines, that idea died on a lap of the Nurburgring. Subscribe for the full story behind every legend. New video every week, no filler, just the cars that actually mattered. Next up, the Porsche 911. The car that refused to die, survived decades of controversy, and became the gold standard for drivers' cars worldwide.